If you hood educated, I'm glad you made it. Allow me to unfold my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from a hood brother's point of view to all of you, here, there, and everywhere. Now check me out.
Music fans across the U.S. are mourning the loss of a Jacksonville rapper. That's our top story tonight. Thank you for staying up with us. I'm Anthony Austin.
I'm Heather Crawford. Lil Papa, born Janarius Wheeler, has died at the age of 25. The medical examiner's office in Fulton County, Georgia, confirming his death to us. The Jacksonville native built a loyal fan base. Christina Burgess has been speaking with those who grew up with him. And Christina, they tell you that his legacy will live on.
Heather and Anthony, Lil Papa was more than just a rapper. He was a hometown dream turned reality. At just 25 years old, he built a powerful voice for himself in the music industry. Now, as friends, family, and fans try to process his sudden loss, those who grew up beside him say that he was bigger than just music.
He was just a great guy. Outside of the music and the artistry, man, he was a good human. And I'll never forget him.
Jacksonville native and music producer Scotty OTH says he grew up with rapper Lil Papa, and the two shared big dreams.
I was making beats, then he was making music. In 2019, 18, we ended up making, our first track together. Outside is deeper than music. That was family to me. We called each other cousins.
Scotty says his grind was unmatched.
Very hard worker. I ain't never seen nobody outwork Papa. Papa was usually the last man standing in the studio. Forever Young was Papa's favorite song that we did together.
In 2022, Lil Papa signed with Yo Gotti's Collective Music Group, a defining moment in his career. He released several fan favorites, including Love and War, Mind Over Matter, and Happy Tears, along with projects like Almost Normal Again. Just this past Friday, he released a new single titled Out of Town Bay. Since the news of his passing broke, Lil Papa has been trending on X. He had nearly 1 million followers on Instagram and more than 600,000 listeners on Spotify.
I feel empty, but I love him. I love him to death, always will. And I'm just trying to compartmentalize everything.
Photographer and creator Terrence Tyson says he met Lil Papa at the very beginning of his career.
I know how, myself and a lot of other people, how hard we went for him to get where he needed to be. It was a shock, it was a big loss.
Tyson says the rapper pushed through trials and tribulations to create opportunities for himself and others.
When he made it, it felt like everyone made it.
Now, as Jacksonville and fans across the country mourn this loss, those closest to him say his heart and music will keep his legacy alive.
But he's gonna live on. His legacy is gonna continue.
He was a star.
And Lil Papa was scheduled to perform at his birthday bash on March 21st at the Fillmore Center in New Orleans. No details surrounding his death have been released at this time, and the medical examiner's office says his cause of death is still pending. Reporting live in downtown Jacksonville, Christina Burgess, First Coast News.
Wish I could see her every day, fuck her in every way, but she stays so damn far away. She my distant lover, call her my little out of town baby. Distant lover, shout her my little out of town baby. Seem to keep her smiling, I hate that. Brandon said you gon' wish you was a child. When I grow up, finally understand what she was saying now. Dealing with these consequences as a man. Wonder will that make me less of one? If I ran from my pride, what if I gave up on life and never get a chance to solve? Should've probably made my son hit his father. If I chose to leave this earth and forget about my toddler, I been kicked the cupboard, I might pick back up the bar. Can you bring me a star? Can't see.
I want y'all to tell me, what do y'all get from this post, right? Because in this post, he's letting it be known that, hey, look, I got one more album, and after that, I'm going to find my peace. And so, I don't know if he's talking about his peace from a record label, or is he talking about, his resting in peace? A lot of fans are speculating, and they're saying that, hey, look, he was letting us know his plans before he did them. Because right after his album release, couple of weeks later, they found him dead.
You'll be proud of me, OG. Woke up, read me a Bible verse, got some breakfast in my system, talked to God about it. You know what I'm saying? And he laid it on me. I got one more album, EP, mixtape, whichever one it's gonna be, I got one more. And it's over, I'm going to find my peace.
Now, these other clippings, right? I hope that YouTube allow you guys to hear him, because in these other clippings, you can tell that this young brother right here is stressed and that he is depressed. And not only that though, in these clippings, he is actually telling us that he's planning to take his own life. Check it out.
I wanna say sorry to my fans. All the shit I go through, you'll never understand. Sitting in the dark with your gun in your hand. What if I play Russian roulette with a Glock, a full clip, and I put one in the head?
I want to give a TIP Thug and Peace to Lil Papa, man. Yeah, my little nigga right there, always supported me, looked up to me, my nigga. Always came to Boosie Bad. Shot at little nigga too.
For the time being.
Some TIP Papa, nigga, Thug and Peace, nigga. Damn, Papa. Talented ass nigga, boy. TIP Papa, nigga, Duval legend, nigga. The Duval legend, nigga. Legend across the world. YNs, the niggas fuck with Papa. My daughter, them niggas fuck with Papa. TIP Papa, nigga.
Cold-blooded demonstration. Now, before we proceed and give y'all the information about what happened with this brother, Lil Papa, let's, get rid of all the conspiracy theories and things like that, because you have people on the internet, right, are saying that the reason why Lil Papa is dead is because Yo Gotti and his record label CMG wanted him dead for insurance money. Now listen, I understand the conspiracy peoples and that y'all assume what y'all assume and y'all believe what y'all believe, but man, do y'all ever sit back and just do the math on the demo? Do y'all ever sit back and just like rationalize, like listen to what y'all saying? Y'all saying that a multi-million-dollar company worth hundreds of millions is finna put all of that at stake for a couple $1 million insurance policy. Like, come on now, y'all. I mean, like, look, believe what you want to believe, assume what you want to assume, but at the same time, I mean, like, come on now, do some math. Come back to reality and put yourself in a situation and say, man, would I do that? If I got hundreds of millions of dollars and I lose a couple over here, am I gonna sacrifice all this just for a couple? Come on now. We gotta think better than that, y'all. I just had to get that out the way, y'all, because I mean, like, they all on the internet with this madness. Now, let's get to the demonstration. According to reports, they are saying that Lil Papa took his own life. And not by way of consuming drugs and stuff like that. Not by sipping lean, not by popping perks and all that, even though that was one of his things that he enjoyed to do. But they said that this young brother right here blew his head off at 25 years old. Took his life. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I want to extend my condolences to his mother, his son, to all his loved ones, people that care and love for him, because when death hit us like this right here, it does something to us, because here it is, like this man right here was on the way up. I'm talking about people love him. And all of a sudden, life is gone. Just like that. Now, I gotta be 100 with y'all, right? I listened to a couple of his songs, and the songs that I have listened to, it tells me that this boy right here been suffering mentally and emotionally, right? And this suffering went on so long, unchecked, that he will be talking about killing himself in multiple songs. He will be talking about committing, I don't want to say it on YouTube because they act funny when you use that word, but he was thinking of, talking about committing the ultimate things that God don't want you to do. You see, taking his own life. Look, I gotta be 100. The boy used to be rapping about this all the time. And in his songs, he rapped about a lot of pain. I'm talking about a lot of emotional pain that he would be going through. A lot of mental pain that he was going through. A lot of stuff that he seen and was involved in when he was in those streets. Look, let me say this right here, y'all. Seeking mental help is not a bad thing. And that goes for you young brothers that pay attention to my channel. And that goes for you classic brothers and sisters that pay attention to my channel. If you need some mental help, go get that. Go get it. Because you got to understand something. Mental health is no different from your physical health. If you broke your arm, you're going to go and, hey man, hold on. This thing right here hurting. I need some help. Put this thing back together. You see what I'm saying? If you cut yourself, if you get shot, if you get into an accident, if you hurt your body, you're going to go seek help. But for some reason, when it comes to mental health and emotional health, we believe in our mind that, hey man, look, I ain't got that, man. I look weak. I look soft going to go seek some mental health. I look weak. I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a woman. I should be able to deal with things. No, we living in a different era and time now. Back in the days, things was a lot slower than what they is right now. These kids are far advanced, way more advanced than we were. You see what I'm saying? In life, the struggles of life is way more advanced than it was 20, 30 years ago. You see? And being that the life is so fast now, that brings on a lot of more pressure. Yeah, a lot of more pressure for the young and the classic. You see? So look, if you need that help, go get that. Go get it. Because it's there for a reason. You got psychologists and psychiatrists for a reason. They didn't get those professions just to be sitting there like, man, ain't nobody gonna never come because, everybody too, they got ego problems. Don't nobody want to come talk to us and all. No, listen, bro. Going to go get your mental health check, going to go get your emotional health check can be the best thing that you have ever discovered. Could be the best thing that you have ever gifted yourself. Because when you go do things like that, it gives you an understanding about what's going on. It gives you an understanding about what's happening. And once you get that understanding, now you can proceed. Now you can blossom. Now you can correct what is wrong. But when you keep it undiagnosed and you don't go seek help, it ain't gonna do nothing but get worse. Yes. The condition up here and the condition right here ain't gonna do nothing but get worse. Listen, one of my partners, a close friend of mine, he didn't understand why he was going through what he was going through mentally after doing decades in the penitentiary. So he come home, this is a whole nother world. He's going through it up here. And he goes to go get some attention though. He seeked help. And the psychiatrist or the psychologist sat him down and said, hey man, listen, you dealing with PTSD. He said, look, I ain't never been in a war though. He said, yes, you have. all the stuff that you went through before you went to prison, all that gang banging and stuff you went through, all those shootings and murders and stabbings and beatings and stuff like that you witnessed, it's still in the mainframe. It ain't went nowhere. And then you went to prison, which is another brutal environment. And you had to live there for decades on fight or flight mode. Okay? Fight or flight mode for decades. You see? So now you come to the world. No. You still in fight and flight. You've been in fight and flight ever since you've been in the streets and went to the penitentiary. Now you come home and you're trying to live a peaceful life. No. Your mind and your emotions is still on fight or flight. It's autopilot right now. We got to correct that. We got to change that. You got to feel safe. You see what I'm saying? So look. Just because you ain't been to Iraq and Afghanistan and all of those type of stuff, PTSD still can happen. Just from living in the ghettos and being in the penitentiaries. Just from going through things. And I believe that this what this young man was suffering from. I don't know if it was PTSD, but he was suffering from some mental problems. And the reason why I say that is because his songs was depressing. Yeah, his songs is you can tell that he has been through some trauma. You see? And being that in multiple songs he talked about, taking his own life and stuff like that. Man, but with him singing the way that he was singing and stuff like that, and one of the things that they are saying that possibly could have contributed to him taking his own life, or him abusing drugs, is his breakup. They saying that the brother had a relationship with Rick Ross's daughter, and they was real tight. They had a son together. You see, they had a baby together. And that breakup, they saying that after that breakup, down spiral. He just started, doing more drugs, doing more alcohol, smoking more, stuff like that because of the breakup. Now, a lot of us can identify with that, right? A lot of men, a lot of women can identify with that. When you go through a breakup of somebody that you once loved, and they say, no, it's over with, I'm gone. Hey, listen, check, you got to do something. I got to medicate. Man, I got to drink the whole bottle now. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to get away from the pain. You feel? Some of us can identify with that. Some of us done did stuff like that where, we got into a breakup and, we didn't want to leave this person, or we didn't want this person to leave us and stuff like that. And the person said, no, it's it. I'm done with you. We will drink until we pass out. We will smoke until we can't smoke no more. So if you popping pills and you doing lean, that's a deadly disaster right there. That concoction right there is an appetite for death. Because these type of drugs right here will take you out. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm not saying that that's what happened. These are the possibilities. You know what I mean? Because we know that these are the things that we do when we go through a hard breakup. He took it hard. You know what I'm saying? He took it hard. Some people are saying that, she was being unfaithful, and she wouldn't stop. And, she would treat him bad. She was putting him through some stuff. I'm talking about people are putting her in a position of the reason why this man took his life. I'm talking about to the point where you got people on the internet threatening this woman. Check it out. Rick Ross, you better get your daughter some security right fucking now. On my mama, fuck Lil Papa BM. BM stands for baby mama. She the reason my nigga was so depressed. 100. Hate that hoe. Lil Papa cried out for help 2 weeks ago after a recent breakup with Rick Ross's daughter and a personal death in his family. He passed away today due to accidental suicide. I believe this person right here was believing the narrative that everybody else was believing initially, that he died due to, accidental drug overdose. But we understand that right there to be false. But the cold-blooded part about all this is this right here. Some people are even speculating that he was in Atlanta to see his son, and that Rick Ross' daughter would not allow him to see his son. And that's when he got mad, upset, and did what he did. Check it out.
Yeah, I moved out so many times and moved back in and moved out and moved back in and moved out. Like, that's the privilege of having parents who don't mind and having free will. I just say do it. Wink it, try it. First time I moved out, but don't do it with a man. That's my advice, because my first time I moved out, I did it with a man and I hated it. It was like the dumbest thing ever. But what was I, 18, 19? Yeah, went back home to my mom shortly after, because I just felt like, one, who's gonna love you like your parents? Not a man. I mean, eventually, God will send you a husband, but that's just, that's not here or there. Yeah, moved out, went back to my mommy, and then moved back out with a man. Worst decision ever. Had a baby, and then moved back with my father, and then moved out again, and I lived by myself with my child for a good 2-3 years, and now we moved to Atlanta.
Y'all see what I'm saying? Like, it done got that deep. You know what I mean? Now, another thing that the young brother was going through, from my understanding, is that he had sickle cell anemia, right? And most people don't know too much about sickle cell anemia, because you might know somebody who has that condition and they are just living. They going to work and they functioning and stuff like that. So we tend to not pay it too much mind. We think like, you got sickle cell anemia, be alright. But that's not the case. When you got sickle cell anemia, and if it's severe, hey, listen, it's a cold-blooded demonstration, because your organs is being attacked, joint pain and stuff like that, severe weakness, getting infections after infections. You see what I'm saying? Short of breath, no energy. You see? So there's different levels to this sickle cell anemia. You know what I mean? And so, they saying that he had that, and one of his ways possibly was medicating to get away from the pain and the suffering of that condition. Either way, this young brother is gone. And what we, the hood educated residents and guests, need to be careful of is this right here. Our kids are listening to Lil Papa. Our kids are influenced by Lil Papa. And we gotta understand something. When you get a rapper like this who is influencing your child, your children, boy or girl, listen, you gotta understand something. If he's talking about killing himself because of his emotional and mental problems, your kids are consuming that information. Your kids are believing in their mind, hey, you know what? This is my artist. I love this guy. He's even talking about doing this. So it's not any shame in it. If he'll do it, I can do it. You see, I just want to get away from everything like he just did. Now, I know a lot of y'all might be saying, oh, hood, come on, bro. Man, my son and my daughter, they ain't that much influence. Yes, they is. Yes, they is. The same way when we was young, we got influenced. When our rappers, Eazy-E and NWA and all them got to talking about 8 Ball. You see, Dr. Dre and them got to talking about Endo. I ain't know what Endo was. I didn't know what no Kush and all that old type of stuff was. When I was young, I didn't even know what 8-ball was. Listen, I can remember just listening to them talking about sipping on 8-ball. What we used to do, and you parents be mindful of this, because you need to wonder how your kids is getting liquor. Winos will be sitting in front of the liquor stores, begging for change. We understood this. So we will go to the liquor store on our bikes and meet up with the winos. Hey, come here. Go behind the liquor store and say, hey, look, check this out. Here go $5. Go get me some 8-ball and you can keep the change. You see, these winos don't know us. They don't care about us. All they want to do is feed their addiction, right? But the funny part is this right here, y'all. I remember, like I told y'all, I didn't know what 8-ball was, but Eazy and NWA was talking about it. So now I want to sip on some 8-ball. So we go get the wino guy. We go in the back of the store and I give him the $5. I say, go get us a 40-ounce of 8-ball. And he said, y'all want some old English 800? I said, no. I don't want no, man. Get us some 8-ball. And he said, yeah, old English 800. I said, man, give my money back, dog. I want 8-ball. I don't want no old English 800. You see, I did not understand that old English 800 was 8-ball. I'm going off of what Eazy and NWA and them done said. You see what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to prove is this right here. Music influences children, regardless if you want to believe it or not. The drugs that these kids are doing right now today, I guarantee you probably 95 to 85% came from music or artists that they are influenced by. And you have these rappers talking about popping these pills and all this old type of stuff, sipping this lean, and now all of a sudden you got a whole generation of pill poppers and lean sippers, not understanding the seriousness of these drugs, not understanding that these drugs are highly addictive and dangerous. You see, when these rappers talk about popping perks and sipping lean, they don't say, hey, look, you can die from this stuff. They don't tell you that. They don't say, hey, man, look, I'm gonna pop a pill, I might not wake up. I'm gonna sip some lean, I'm gonna go to sleep and die. They don't talk about that part of it. They make it sound glorious, fun, and your kids is listening. Yeah, this is fun. Yeah, I want to do this. Yeah. Future told me that's all he do. Percocets, Molly Percocets. That's all he do. You see what I'm saying? Chase a bag, never chase a bit. You see, these kids are being influenced by this. So you got to be careful, and you got to listen to what your children are listening to. Understand that they're going to listen to it anyway. But as a parent, we got to give them the game. Listen, this man right here talking about Molly's and Percocets, he ain't doing that. He lying. You see, he lying. He ain't doing that. He acting. He wants you to do it so you can be dumb. You see, he wants you to do it so you can lose your life. He ain't doing that. You see, you got people dying from taking these pills and these fentanyls and all this old type of stuff all over the place. This man been rapping about Molly Percocets for 15 years. And he ain't dead yet. You see, he talking about doing both of them. I'm taking Molly and I'm lean. And he ain't dead yet. Ain't been to the hospital or nothing. You see, so we got to really get in there and start demonstrating with our kids and letting them know, hey man, listen, this is a game. Don't you fall for it. Don't you be a victim. Because you got to understand, some son or daughter, engaging in this type of activity, it can end your life. And so again, understand, listen, y'all, I gotta reiterate this. Listen, the influence of music is powerful. Did you hear what I said? Powerful. is more powerful than we think because we done matured. But if we would just look back at our lives, everything we did, the way that we dressed, the way that we talked, the way that we wore our jewelry, the way that we wore our hats, the way that we wore our shoes, right? The drugs, the alcohol we consume, all came from somebody that influenced us by way of music. This is Hood Educated, not Lame Related. Peace and love, and y'all take care of yourself out there. If I said anything that caused you to think, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And if you're feeling generous, please make a small donation to the channel. Now, before I depart, allow me to say this right here. Let me give a shout out to all my members on this channel. Let me give a shout out to everybody that donates to the channel. And let me give a shout out to everybody who is a member and a subscribed member over there on my other channel that shows all those videos and stuff like that. I really appreciate y'all love, and I really appreciate the support. Peace and love.